Aloha, and welcome to Manoa Valley Theater. I'm Executive Director Kip Wilborn, and we are so excited to have you back in our house. Now, a lot has changed since you were here last, so I thought I'd take a few moments to show you what to expect when you arrive at the theater for a performance. Now, because we're committed to making sure that MVT is as safe and healthy a venue as possible, we do require that everyone wear a face covering over their nose and mouth whenever they enter the theater grounds. MVT recently earned the Healthy Verify certification. Now, what does that mean to you? It means that we're exceeding the guidelines from the CDC and Hawaii State Department of Health. We want you to have peace of mind when you come back to visit us, and we've been hard at work cleaning and reorganizing for you. As you approach the box office, you'll see markers on the ground spaced 6 feet apart. Please use these as a guide while waiting to check in to ensure proper social distancing. And when it's your turn to check in, step up to the marker in front of the table. Give our box office staff the name under which your reservation was made, and they will match the name to our reservation list. Next, a staff member will do a contactless temperature check and ask for a few short questions related to COVID-19. You can access our new digital playbill by scanning the QR code posted at the theater or via the link on our website. After checking in, line up in front of our main doors. For the time being, and with your health and safety in mind, we will not sell drinks and snacks, and outside food and beverages are not allowed on the theater grounds. Before each performance and between performances on 2 show days, the theater, public areas, restrooms, backstage, and dressing rooms will be cleaned and disinfected. The house will open 30 minutes prior to the show. Now, we all love to greet our friends and family who are on stage, but we ask that you not congregate at the stage door. Give your congratulations and lay after you've left the theater grounds. Once inside, an usher will be happy to direct you to your seat. Your seat will be labeled with your reservation name. Hand sanitizer will be available in multiple locations throughout the theater. With socially distanced seating and ample separation between you and the actors on stage, we're doing our part to provide for you the safest and most comfortable performance experience possible. At the end of the performance, please remain in your seats. Our house staff will dismiss you by sections. Thanks to generous donations, we were able to replace our air conditioning system this year, helping to provide clean air in the theater. Additionally, during the performance, the main doors will be kept open to increase airflow. For over 50 years, we've had the privilege of bringing high-quality live theater and concerts to Hawaii's audiences. And from all of us here at Manoa Valley Theater, we would like to thank you for your loyalty and continued support. And without further ado, it's showtime!
And good afternoon, aloha. Welcome to the Friday edition of Manoa Valley Theater Live. Well, actually, it's the only time we do it is on Friday. This is episode 66. I'm Devin. I am your host for the show, and we welcome in Mr. Kip Wilborn, our executive director. Yay!
Hey,
Hello,
day. Happy Aloha Friday. Yeah.
Yes.
How about that?
Thank you for being here.
Sure.
Yay.
Now,
It's
don't
nice to
start
see
with
you.
me. Don't start.
No, it's just nice to have you here. I'm just smiles. I'm all smiles. It's awesome. All right. So thank you. Appreciate it. I'm just trying to keep up with you here. All right. So let us know what the scoops is, because there's a lot going on, which is really exciting to say.
Really
you know,
exciting, right?
Over the past few months, we've just had a lot of stuff going on. So
There's a lot going on. We have a fantastic show on stage right now, and we just extended. So if you haven't seen Daddy Longlegs, you really need to see it. It's so engaging. You just, I didn't fall asleep once. It was fantastic. No, it's a great show. It really is. And fantastic performers. And so don't miss this one. We have, I think, 6 tickets left for this weekend.
wow.
And next weekend, we extended a week. So next weekend is selling well. And so we're looking forward to, who knows, maybe we'll extend again. That would be great.
Ooh.
But you got to get to the box office, 808-988-6131. Get your tickets or go online to ManoaValleyTheater.com. And we have a special treat this week in between shows. So after the afternoon matinee, we're going to have Michael Jackowitz, and he is the New York producer of, as you saw last week, it was last week, right? Last week, New York producer of Daddy Longlegs. So he's going to be here, and he's going to give a little talking about the creation of Daddy Longlegs and how all that came about. So you don't want to miss. And so please make your way to that. We have auditions, as you know, for Be More Chill this weekend on Sunday evening and Monday, and I think the callbacks are on Tuesday. So you can call the box office and you can put your name in the hat. But I'll tell you, all of the audition slots are full. But come anyway. And we'll figure out a way to work you in, to get you in there, because we don't want anybody who wants to audition. We want to make sure they get a chance to. So that's Be More Chill this Sunday evening auditions, and we're so excited. September 2nd, I believe, is when it opens. And then we have a great concert this month, August 7th. We have Jeff Peterson who will be in the house for a 5 p.m. and an 8 p.m. concert. So don't want to miss that. Last time Jeff was here, it was just extraordinary. I mean, I've never seen somebody move their hand on the fretboard of a guitar like he did. It was just ridiculous. So
yeah, super talented dude. By the way, for Be More Chill, as far as the auditions go, people just need to prepare a song, or because I'll be honest, I was like, "Ooh, what if I wanted to audition? What should I do?" You should.
Yeah, I mean, Jenny Sharoma is the music director, but I believe they're just wanting kind of a pop style song, and I may be speaking out of turn here, so you can get details at the box office, 808-988-6131. But I believe that's the case.
Very cool.
Andrew Sakaguchi is directing and choreographing, so it should be really deal. Yeah.
Whoo, my goodness. Okay, so Kip, with the I guess, with them doing the whole restaurant thing and letting them say, hey, if you got your vaccine, you can show proof, you can start to open up. I mean, are we gonna kind of try to piggyback onto that and say, well,
I was told just before coming on air about an article on Civil Beat today, and it was about all the changes and everything. And it said, however, the performance venues are the ones that are really suffering because this does nothing for the performance venues. We can have drunk people hanging all over each other, but we are limited still.
Okay, so all right. Let's go work on the mayor. You and I can go see him.
Because I tell you what's happening. It's forcing us not to sell season tickets. It's forcing us to make first three shows of the year single ticket purchases, and that's really it's hard on the theater because that season ticket income is something that carries us through the year. So we're going to start the season tickets with the January show.
Ooh, my
unless
gosh!
we get new regulations,
right? But I mean, to have to pivot on that so quickly is really tough. I mean, I can't even imagine. So
presently we're like at 55 plus seats with the wheelchair seats as well, and so it actually we're more like 60 with the wheelchair seats, and so that's a small, that's not even half what our capacity is, and so right now we're going to have to put this on sale for the fall at that number until we get new numbers. Yeah.
My gosh. Okay. All right. Folks,
call your city councilman.
Okay. Yeah. Please help out if you can too. Don't forget the number.
Actually, it's the governor. Call the governor.
Yeah. Well, governor sets the thing, and then the mayor says, "Okay, you guys can open some more."
Well, I feel
they work in concert with each other. So
I feel like Mayor Blangiardi is probably saying, "Are you kidding me? Can we please open up?"
Yeah, probably. Hey, we got another trivia question for you, and for those of you who are watching, if you would like to win yourself some tickets to go and check out this awesome show, Daddy Longlegs and Kip, I think you have the question.
Yeah. So, where did Jerusha spend the summer? What's the name of the place where she spent the summer?
Okay. First person to get that answer in.
Summers were other places, but it's the first one. It's the one that Daddy Longlegs sent her to.
Okay. So first one to get that answer into us wins themselves the 2 tickets. So good luck. Right on. And thank you, Kip. Always good to see you, bud.
Thank you. Good to see you, brother.
All right. Our first guest here, not a stranger to the show. He's been on before. He's one of the founders of Hawaii Shakespeare Festival, where he most recently directed As You Like It. It's his lucky 13th production for the Hawaii Shakespeare Festival. He is active in the local improvised theater scene with On the Spot, with whom he's toured to Chicago, Seattle, and London. Also Oil in the Alley, which he's toured to Seattle, New York City, Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles. He's directed several shows at Kumukuhua Theater and Manoa Valley Theater, his most recent being MVT's streaming production of Waiting for the Host. Ladies and gentlemen, viewers, welcome R. Kevin Garcia Doyle.
Well done. Well done, Devin.
I know. I feel like we saw each other not too long ago. Because
that's become a regular occurrence in my life. Good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, man. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're looking snazzy in that suit jacket there, buddy. Kind of like that.
Just trying to clean myself up a little bit. So
your wife's like, all right, we can go out together in public. It's fine.
Exactly.
I'm okay with it. All right. So I don't know whether to start with the show or start with Hawaii Shakespeare Festival, because as a proud alum of the Hawaii Shakespeare Festival, and seeing where it began, it's kind of neat to know that, dude, you guys have been doing this for 13 years?
20 years.
20 years. I'm sorry. My gosh.
No, it's cool because I've done 13 productions. So those
but it's been 20 years.
13 important years. Yeah. But seriously, we've been around 20 years. We started at Paliku, and we've been virtual. And this year, we're really excited that Mr. Pisculi's production, who will be here shortly, is going to be our return to live people and a live theater and a live theater setting. So yeah, so we're very excited about that.
Man. Okay. So tell me about the beginnings of the Hawaii Shakespeare Festival. I mean, where did that come from? Because I know it was like you and Tony and a couple other people, right? Who had the idea for it.
Tony, Harry, and Harry Wong from
Harry, that's right. Yeah.
we're sitting around having pizza downtown once, and I don't even remember who one of us says, "Hey, I want to direct this play by Shakespeare," and the other one says, "I want to talk about this. I want to direct this play by Shakespeare." And we said, "Well, let's do it," and we just did it. We at the time. We had all of us had been involved in Shakespeare with Terry Knapp at the university, and we had also been involved in some summer theater that Shirley Kagan initiated at UH. So this was kind of an extension of those things initially, and it's taken on a life of its own. And under Tony's direction, we've done the entire canon, all of Shakespeare's plays. So we're starting to loop around again right now.
Loop around, yeah. I know it's kind of weird to think about it, because when you guys first started doing this 20 years ago, it was like, wow, there's so many shows from Shakespeare's collection, his oeuvre. I mean, will we be able to get through everything? And now you're coming around for the second time.
Yeah, we had no idea that we'd be able to finish it. We're thrilled.
And okay, so we've got Tony here, so I'm going to bring him on before we lose him again.
Awesome.
Our other guest is the co-founder, artistic director for Hawaii Shakespeare Festival. He's also Hawaii's premier fight director and a master instructor with Dueling Arts International.
Devin.
Has won multiple awards for
AR.
directing fight choreography. Yeah, hey. With Stephanie Keiko Kong, he recently wrote and directed Enigma, a play about identity and isolation for TAG, the actors group. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Biscoli. Yay!
Yee-hoo!
And see, look, as soon as we bring him on, we just lost him.
I
Hi,
think
Tony.
we have his audio, just not his video. Are you there?
Do we have his audio? Wait, let me see that, Tony. Nope. Lost his audio too. Oh, there he is. Okay.
I'm here, but I don't know how well you guys can see or
Well,
hear
we're
me.
hearing you and seeing pieces of you.
I'm kind of fading in and out. I'm down here at Hawaiian Mission Houses, where I'm going to put on Henry IV Part 1. So my Wi-Fi connection is a little bit spotty
Okay, so
right now. Sorry.
no, it's okay. Real quickly, can we get into your vision for Henry IV? Because one of the cool things about seeing you guys do these is every year you come up with some new way to present the show. It's modern retelling. It's all women in the cast. It's so what's happening with Henry IV this time around?
Well, it's an all-woman cast, but that's nothing new at this point. It's the first time I've directed an outdoor show as an outdoor show. We did All's Well. That was a remount for me, and Jason directed Much Ado. So this is my first time directing outdoors specifically. The big challenge with Henry IV, I think, is that it's a history play that was very familiar to Shakespeare's audience, but not to our audience. And so we have to, a lot of people are talked about that are off stage, and we have to find a way to bring them on stage and make it clear who all the players are. So that's my big challenge in directing this one.
Okay.
Oh, look at that cast. Amazing.
Now, one of the things that's sort of unusual for the casting of the Shakespeare Festival is you guys like audition everybody all at once for the entire thing, right? So you set the shows and then you go, okay, let's just cast the wide net and we cast who we cast. And, you could be casting a show that's going to be, a month or two down the road. So, I mean, how does that work? How did you guys come up with that idea?
I think a little bit of it was out of necessity.
Feel free to jump in any point if my audio stream dies. Yeah, there you go. You go.
It kind of happened out of necessity because initially, and still, we do the shows all in the same clump of time. So if we don't take the time to try and basically horse trade, for lack of a better words, in the casting period, we end up conflicting with each other. Whereas if we cast everything in unison, it gives us the opportunity to try to make sure that the shows are balanced and that everyone essentially has the actors that they'd like to use. And it's really taught, I can speak for myself here, it's really taught me a lot about casting. That if you have that one person in mind that has to be the right person for a small part, but Tony's going to give them the lead. All right, I can use somebody else. They end up being just as good as I would have imagined the other person would have been in the role. So it's really been eye-opening for me in that regard. So I've really liked this way of working.
Now, Tony, being the master fighter teacher guy that you are, do you tend to take on the shows that require the fighting? Because I know how much you love, sort of directing that stuff, putting it together.
I don't intentionally, although I don't think I've directed a show where I haven't managed to squeeze a fight scene in somewhere somehow. But no, that I don't choose the plays that way. It's just sort of been an accident. I ended up directing a lot of the history plays because nobody else really wanted to, and they needed to get done as we were racing towards completing the canon. And I just said, okay, I'll do it. And then I kind of love them now. So yeah. And they
That's
have
awesome.
They have most of the combat in them.
How do you guys take on the script? Because to do Henry IV, in its entirety would take you almost all day, it seems. I mean, so where is your editing process when you guys do this? Because obviously you don't do the whole show, but
it depends on the script. Henry IV is pretty accessible play. And it's not that long. I think it's maybe 2.5, 3 hours long, uncut. But I think it plays better at about 90 minutes to just under 2 hours, which is what we're aiming for. There's a lot that's irrelevant. There's a lot that's historical, blah blah blah, and we just sort of we can trim that away and focus on the story, which is what you want to see.
Do the three of you
interpersonal conflict between?
Right. Well, I mean, I was curious about it with because it's the three of you. Do you sit there and go, okay, if you're doing your show, Kevin, do you sit there and tell Tony, okay, when you first started, was it, okay, Tony, help me with this because I got to cut this thing down to a manageable level. We got to do 2 hours. We got to do 2.5. Do you guys sit there and pick each other's brain and go, can we cut this? Can we do this? Can we do without this? Is that how that works? Or are you in your own silo kind of doing your things? You're like, oh my gosh.
You've seen, and if you've seen many of my shows, cutting them down is not my forte. But I've gotten better at it. Over the years. Tony is kind of the avatar of great editing. He's able to reduce the plays down to their bare bones, and they still feel like Shakespeare, and because they are Shakespeare, and you get the story, and you leave it saying, "What did I miss? What was cut?" And I envy him that magic power.
Well, and the other thing too is, you both and Harry as well. I mean, the three of you have to deal with again, I'm sorry to keep bringing up Henry IV, but that's the one I'm kind of most familiar with regards to the size and the scope of it. And I mean, the prologue even talks about how the fact that you're trying to do this gigantic 500,000 person fight that's on a field with all this stuff, and you got like 3 people on stage. It's got to represent everything. I mean, what is your thought process for when you put those things together? Because you've got these huge battle scenes, you've got these huge things that happen. I mean, how do you cram it within a wooden O, shall we say?
So that prologue is actually Henry V. That's what you're thinking.
Oh, Henry
of,
V. I'm sorry, my bad.
Which is actually much more battle oriented than Henry IV. Henry IV is more of a personal story between Prince Hal, the young Prince Hal, who goes on to become Henry V. But this is him before he's taken the throne, and it's largely to do with his relationship between his father, the king, Henry IV, and his surrogate father, Falstaff, and what kind of man he's going to turn out to be. Yeah, so it's a much more personal story than Henry V, although there is a couple of good battle scenes in it.
Okay, cool. Now, Harry's not here, so did either of you want to speak for Harry? Just for fun?
Well, Tony, maybe you can talk a little bit about what the third show is this year, because it's wicked cool.
Yeah, so we're doing something we've never tried before. It's a program called Shortcuts. And Harry, we wanted all 3 of the founders to direct this year. And Harry, because of what's going on with Kumu and COVID, his schedule's a little bit jammed up, and he didn't want to deal with a full Shakespeare show. He said, I'd like to direct a one act. And we said, okay, great, we can make that work. Let's pull in 2 other people to do some one acts. Tari Kinoshita, who's directed Force Before, is doing a very cut down version of Henry VI. And then Malia Wessel, and no offense to R or to me or anyone else involved, Malia Wessel is doing the show that I'm most excited to see this year. Yeah. It's a mashup of Comedy of Errors with Hamlet that she has created and is directing. You wouldn't think that would work,
wow.
But it is brilliant, it is hysterical, and it is a commentary on Hamlet that will make you laugh.
Okay,
and
so
make you
sing. time out. How do you do a mashup of 2 plays? Or I mean, obviously, come see it. Obviously, come see it so you can see it for yourself. But I'm like, wait, what?
She's got 2 Hamlet. I don't want to give too much away. She takes just lines from each of the plays, interleaved together in a way that makes sense, and a couple of additional characters. She twins some of the characters in Hamlet to provide the twin comedy of Errors.
Wow. Okay. That's cool.
It's brilliant.
Okay, so now that you guys are circling back, I mean, it's again, it's 20 years of the shows. Oh, and by the way, if you'd like to pick up tickets for Hawaii Shakespeare Festival, they are on sale. You go right there, hawaiishakes.org. Pick up some tickets. Seriously, it is Shakespeare like you've never seen it. Mostly because not a lot of people do Shakespeare, so it's cool to it's nice to see it done by people who are dedicated and who really love the words, the dialogue, the just the stories themselves. I mean, you guys are so faithful and so true to it that I'm always very impressed. And speaking again as somebody, I mean, I think I did it with you guys the first time because we did that show that you're not supposed to talk about. Name. I'm so the kind that I don't even want to say the name of the show, but I mean, some of the most amazing actors in Hawaii have done the Hawaii Shakespeare Festival. So you never know who you're going to see, and the talent that they're going to bring later on is like, oh my gosh, hey, that's right, I saw them in Hawaii Shakespeare Festival doing this show or doing that show. Sorry, that was a plug for you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no. My other question is, as time has gone on and you're going around in your second round, do you feel more free to sort of go, okay, I want to do this show or I want to do that show, or has it always been like that?
Well, I think that I felt pretty much like I've been able to do the shows that I want to do. I know sometimes, as Tony mentioned, there's shows that he's done because he wants to make sure everything. He wanted to make sure every single play actually happened. So Tony's the one who did King John and Timon of Athens and some of the lesser known plays, and they were terrific. So that's one of the cool things is I've ended up at the end of the season, after the end of doing the entire cycle, I ended up thinking, those couple of those plays, yeah, maybe I could do those later because I'm able to look at them and say, okay, I see how Tony is passionate about this play. I'm able to see why the play might be worth seeing or worth doing. So that's been kind of a cool thing about the whole process. Nice. So yeah, I guess to answer your question, I've certainly felt free to select what I want to do. I don't know if Tony has had the same experience since he's been like the broom sweeping up all of the additional small name plays over the years. How do you feel
Tony,
about
how about you? Oh, frozen? Good?
I think my connection's spotty right now, but I'll say this, if you guys can hear me. Even though I've been stuck with some of the less popular plays, I don't think every time I've directed a play, no matter what I thought about it going in, I have come out of the process absolutely loving it. I have never been disappointed to direct a Shakespeare play. Once you engage with a Shakespeare play, you fall in love with it, and that's it. So yeah, because they're just so good. There's really no stinkers in the bunch. Even King John, which is widely mocked, now one of my favorite plays. It's amazing. I don't know
Oh.
why it's not done more often. It's so much fun. So
Okay, cool. Now, if somebody's watching this and they're an actor and they think to themselves, there is no way I can do a Shakespeare play, is there any advice that you would give them for why they can come out and approach a show that has Shakespeare in it and go, all right, I can get it. I can do it.
If you have no prior experience,
yeah,
this is
we
the
look
festival
for
you.
beginner actors. We want beginner actors because the best way to engage with Shakespeare is to do Shakespeare. So if you're a beginner and you're curious about Shakespeare, come and do it. And we cast
Okay.
beginners all the time.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said for the understanding as you do it, right? And when you're working with these two gentlemen and Harry as well, they help you to glean an understanding of the text that you may not think is there. It's one of the joys of, I think, watching Shakespeare it's a weird thing, and you try to explain it to people because they go, I don't want to watch that thing. It's Shakespeare. And you go, no, you don't understand. Everybody I know who's not like Shakespeare, they sit down, and if you just let your mind open and you watch the show, all of a sudden something clicks, and then you go, oh, I know what they're talking about. Oh, okay. I understand what's happening. And I never understand that. It's always hard to explain it to people because it's something that you don't get unless you watch the show. You know what I mean? You're not going to get it off the text by reading it. You have to hear it out loud. You guys have been doing this for 20 years. How do you explain that to people?
Well, we both worked with Terry Knapp, and Terry was really good at taking somebody with virtually no Shakespeare experience and getting them up to speed on the text. And I think that I certainly draw a lot on what Terry does. So I'm doing 12th Night this year, and it's one of Terry's favorite shows. So I've asked myself, what would Terry do an awful lot during this particular production? And it's in a comic book style. It's still on. I think I heard a rooster there.
That was a rooster.
It's going to be, but the point is that when somebody comes aboard and they don't have prior Shakespeare experience, you start by just getting them used to the words and then talking through with them what the words mean. I use the Art in Shakespeare as my resource a lot because it has pages and pages of footnotes in it that kind of explain a whole lot. So that's one of the ways that we help them. That's one of the ways that we help get them through it here. Tony, you're on like a 2-second lag, so that rooster is happening for you at a different time than for us. It's. The thing is that I think a lot of times actors come in intimidated by Shakespeare, and it's a lot easier to do than I think people who haven't done it think it is. But that's also kind of one of the tricks, right? Is people come see it and think, oh wow, that was so hard to do, and meanwhile we're all like, yeah, no problem, man. Tony, what about you? What do you do with new actors?
Man, I don't know what to say because I don't know if you're able to hear me. I love working with new actors. In fact, before the pandemic hit, my plan was to do last year was to do a beginner only Shakespeare. And that was my way of sort of saying, hey, there's no barrier. We've knocked the barrier to the ground because no one's allowed into this production except beginners. I'm only going to accept beginners. If you've done a Shakespeare play before, even in high school, you're not welcome here. Do one of the other two shows, because I really wanted to make it accessible to beginners to get rid of that intimidation factor. And, there's a process I go through. We play a lot of theater games at the beginning as part of the boot camp. But it's really the intimidation, like R said, it's not actually difficult. There are some specific skills that are useful. And what's great about it is you have to develop those skills for Shakespeare, but then you can apply them to everything else you do from then on. Yeah. So doing a Shakespeare play is a wonderful crucible and learning experience for an actor. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Wow.
We joke that it's the gateway drug for the rest of theater. So
it totally is. If you can make it through a Shakespeare play, you're golden. You're good.
You're right.
Because it Right. And it doesn't matter what show you do. If you do one of the comedies, if you do one of the dramas, the thing that I found with it is that, there's something to be had for an actor to put into their toolbox that they can use for later on. You learn about timing, you learn about, and I think one of the coolest things for me was you learn about digging into the text and seeing what's there. And that it's not just the stuff you read on the surface, but it's everything that's underneath, and you need to play some of that stuff. So it's pretty cool. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Once again, Hawaii Shakespeare Festival, they are going to be performing. Yeah, and there you go. So go check out hawaiishakes.org to get yourself your tickets. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. You will have your mind blown, I guarantee you, because you're going to see something in these shows where you're like, they do that with Shakespeare? Yes, the three gentlemen here, Tony and and R and also Harry. Over the last 20 years, they've definitely been one of the three of the leaders as far as keeping that Shakespeare flag flying. I was going to say freak flag for Shakespeare flying. That's not the same thing. But it's really cool, and thank you, gentlemen, for continuing this on. We really appreciate it. Can't wait to see what's coming up next. Kip, did you want to come back on?
Sure. Thank you, guys. It's great to see you.
Kip.
I haven't seen you guys in a while. So
I know.
Thank you for doing the good work, and we can't wait to see the shows, and everybody should check it out.
Yes, and Tony, we're gonna have you on again to talk about fighting.
Okay, sounds good.
just cause, and hopefully we'll catch you. I'm gonna have you in the studio with me just so that we don't have to deal with the whole Wi-Fi thing. That'll be more fun.
Yeah.
But
Sounds good.
Tony, thank you so much for spending this time with us. Kip, thank you so much for being here. Yay!
Everybody
Janine,
come see Daddy Longlegs.
yes, please. And Janine, who is breathing a sigh of relief because you were here today, Kip. Also Andrew and Kristen. On behalf of all of them, it's Devin. Thank you so much again for joining us. Don't forget to check out Daddy Longlegs Hawaii Shakespeare Festival, and see you next week right here for more Manoa Valley Theater Live. Aloha.
Hello.